A black couple steps out of a sleek black car, dressed to perfection for an important evening. They walk confidently toward the entrance of a luxury high-rise building, their excitement palpable. But just as they approach the glass doors, they are stopped by the security guard. His stern expression and dismissive tone make it clear he assumes they don't belong. "You must be mistaken," the guard says, holding out his hand. "This building doesn't allow outsiders. You'll need to leave." Lisa and James, calm but visibly surprised, try to explain. "We have every right to be here," Lisa asserts, but the guard doesn't budge. Instead, his tone grows more condescending. "I don't care what you're saying. You're not stepping in here." As a small crowd begins to gather, murmurs ripple through the air. What happens next will leave everyone speechless. When Lisa makes a call and reveals who they truly are, the guard's entire demeanor changes. What will the couple do next? Stay with us to uncover this powerful story of justice and grace. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire and challenge perceptions. Lisa and James Carter are not your average couple. They are young, ambitious, and wildly successful. Lisa is a renowned architect who has designed some of the most iconic structures in the city. James is a tech entrepreneur whose innovative app has transformed the way people connect. Together, they have built a life of love, success, and respect. Despite their achievements, Lisa and James remain grounded. They regularly volunteer at community events and mentor young professionals. Their dedication to giving back has earned them admiration from friends and colleagues. Their latest venture is a dream come true, a luxury high-rise building in the heart of the city. Designed by Lisa and funded by James's company, the building stands as a symbol of their shared success. It is sleek, modern, and filled with eco-friendly innovations. Tonight is a big night for the Carters. They have planned a celebratory dinner on the top floor of their building to mark its official opening. Dressed in an elegant black gown and a tailored suit, Lisa and James step out of their car with pride, ready to meet their guests. The neighborhood around the building is bustling with activity. Luxury cars glide past, and the glow of city lights adds a magical touch to the evening. As they approach the building's grand entrance, they are stopped by a man in uniform, the security guard. He is a tall, middle-aged man with a stern expression. He glances at the couple with skepticism, and his body language makes it clear that he doubts they belong there. Without a hint of politeness, he raises his hand, signaling them to stop. "Can I help you?" the guard asks, his tone dismissive. Lisa, caught off guard but maintaining her composure, replies, "We're here for the event." The guard narrows his eyes. "This building doesn't allow outsiders, and I don't see your names on the list," he states firmly. James tries to explain, but the guard cuts him off. "You can't just walk in here dressed up like you belong. Move along before I call the police." The couple exchanges a glance, their shock slowly giving way to quiet determination. They know this is not just about them. It is about the assumptions people make based on appearances. Little does the guard know the Carters are not just guests, they are the owners. What happens next will be a lesson in dignity and justice. Lisa and James Carter stand at the entrance of their own building, stunned by the behavior of the security guard. His sharp tone and dismissive attitude are clear indicators of bias. James takes a deep breath, trying to stay calm, while Lisa straightens her posture, preparing to confront the situation with grace. "We are here for the event on the top floor," James explains again, keeping his voice steady. But the guard does not even glance at the guest list. "I said you are not allowed in. This is a private building. No random people can just walk in," he snaps. Lisa steps forward, her confidence unshaken. "We are not random people. Check the list," she says firmly, pointing to the clipboard in his hand. The guard smirks, looking them up and down. "I don't need to check anything. People like you shouldn't even be near a place like this. Move along before I call the police." Lisa's jaw tightens, and James clenches his fists by his side. They are no strangers to subtle discrimination, but this blatant mistreatment catches them off guard. Nearby, a few onlookers begin to notice the exchange. Some whisper to each other, while others take out their phones, sensing that something unusual is happening. "Excuse me?" James says firmly, his voice carrying a tone of authority. "This is our building." The guard laughs sarcastically. "Your building? Right. And I am the mayor of the city," he retorts, clearly enjoying his perceived power. Lisa glances at James, her eyes signaling him to stay calm. "Listen," she says, her voice firm but measured. You are making a mistake. We are the owners of this building. If you don't believe us, call the building manager or someone in charge. The guard rolls his eyes. Nice try. But I am in charge of who comes in and who stays out. And you two are staying out, he says, crossing his arms. The tension in the air thickens. Onlookers gather closer, some shaking their heads in disbelief, while others quietly record the incident. A young woman in the crowd mutters, "This is unbelievable. They look like they belong here more than anyone else." Lisa feels her patience wearing thin, but she refuses to lose her composure. "If you are not going to verify what we are saying, you are going to regret this," she says, her tone calm but filled with resolve. The guard smirks again. "Regret it? Sure. You can regret it on the sidewalk," he snaps back. James takes a step forward, his voice calm but commanding. "You have one chance to fix this before this escalates," he says, looking the guard directly in the eyes. The guard scoffs. "Escalate all you want. You are not getting in." Lisa sighs deeply and pulls out her phone. She scrolls through her contacts, finding the building manager's number. As she dials, she notices the crowd growing larger. The whispers and murmurs are getting louder. "Who do they think they are?" someone in the crowd says. "This is insane. Why wouldn't he just check the list?" another person mutters. The guard, clearly feeling the growing pressure but unwilling to back down, looks increasingly uncomfortable. "Fine, call whoever you want," he says, his voice wavering slightly. Lisa speaks calmly into the phone. "This is Lisa Carter. I need you at the entrance immediately. Your security guard is refusing us entry." Within minutes, a man in a suit rushes toward the entrance, his expression panicked. The building manager recognizes Lisa and James immediately. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I am so sorry for this misunderstanding," he says loudly, looking pointedly at the guard. The guard's face pales as the realization dawns on him. The murmurs in the crowd grow louder. "Wait! They really own this place?" someone exclaims. James turns to the guard, his expression stern. "Now, are you ready to listen?" The guard stammers, his arrogance evaporating in an instant. I didn't know," he says weakly, unable to meet their eyes. Lisa and James exchange a look, their initial anger softening into determination. They know this is not just about them. It is about challenging assumptions and standing up for what is right. The moment is far from over, and the lesson is just beginning. Lisa Carter hangs up the phone with the building manager, her calm demeanor unwavering despite the storm of emotions inside. James Carter stands beside her, his towering presence commanding attention, but his face remains composed. The tension in the air grows as the security guard shifts uncomfortably, sensing the tide turning against him. "You really should have just checked the list," Lisa says firmly, her gaze locked on the guard. Before he can respond, the crowd murmurs louder. People now openly discuss what they have just witnessed. "They said they own this place. Why wouldn't he just look it up?" one man mutters. The building manager rushes to the scene, his expression fraught with panic. "Mrs. Carter, Mr. Carter," he exclaims, quickly approaching the couple. "I am so sorry for this. This is unacceptable." The security guard stiffens, his confidence crumbling as the building manager continues. "You own this building, and I am deeply ashamed that you were treated this way," he says, his voice loud enough for the crowd to hear. Lisa nods slightly but does not look away from the guard. "We were polite. We explained who we were, but he refused to listen," she says evenly. The manager turns to the guard, his face hard with disapproval. "You refused to check the list? You refused to verify their identity?" he demands. I didn't know," the guard stammers, his earlier arrogance replaced by a nervous, almost pleading tone. "That's the problem," James says, stepping forward. His voice is calm but carries the weight of authority. "You didn't care to know. You assumed, and you acted on those assumptions. That's not how you treat people." The crowd grows silent, hanging on James's every word. The guard looks down, unable to meet anyone's eyes. The realization of his mistake has set in, but the consequences are just beginning. The building manager shakes his head in frustration. "This is not how we do things here. You owe Mr. and Mrs. Carter an apology," he says firmly. I'm sorry," the guard mumbles, barely audible. Lisa steps forward, her gaze steady. "Apologies are a start, but they don't erase what happened here today. Do you understand that?" she asks. The guard nods weakly. "Yes, ma'am," he says. The murmurs in the crowd resume, but now there is a shift in tone. People are not just watching. They are reflecting on the lesson unfolding before them. "This isn't just about us," Lisa says, turning to address the crowd. "It's about what we allow and what we stand against. Assumptions like this happen every day. People are judged, dismissed, and mistreated because of how they look. We can do better." The crowd nods in agreement. Some even clap softly, acknowledging her words. The building manager takes a deep breath and turns back to the Carters. "We will handle this situation immediately. Please know that your concerns will not go unnoticed," he assures them. Lisa glances at James, and they share a quiet moment of understanding. They know this incident is part of a larger fight, a fight for respect, dignity, and equality. "We expect more than words," James says finally, his voice steady but resolute. "Make sure this doesn't happen again, not just to us, but to anyone." The manager nods vigorously. "Of course, you have my word." As Lisa and James walk past the entrance and into the building, the guard steps aside, his face flushed with shame. The crowd parts, allowing the couple to move forward, their heads held high. The lesson is clear, and the impact of the moment lingers long after they are gone. This is not just about one incident. It is a call to action for everyone who witnessed it. Respect is not negotiable, and assumptions have no place in a world striving for equality. Lisa and James Carter walk through the lobby of their own building, heads held high. They are not here to argue, but to make their presence known and to set the record straight. The atmosphere in the lobby is tense. The crowd that gathered outside follows them inside, their murmurs filling the air with curiosity and disbelief. The building manager, Mr. Griffin, takes a deep breath before addressing the Carters. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I cannot express how deeply sorry I am for what happened. Please, let us make this right," he says, his tone sincere. Lisa looks at him, her face calm but firm. "This isn't just about an apology. It's about accountability. Your staff made assumptions without even attempting to check the facts," she says, her voice steady. Mr. Griffin nods, turning to the security guard, who stands awkwardly to the side. "You had one job," he says sharply. "Verify identities. You didn't even look at the list. Instead, you let your biases guide your actions." The guard fumbles for words. "I didn't know. I didn't think." Lisa interrupts him, her gaze piercing. "That's the problem. You didn't think. You assumed. And in doing so, you disrespected us, your employers, and everyone who deserves better than this." The crowd grows silent, hanging on every word. The Carters are not yelling or making a scene. Their calm, composed demeanor makes their words hit even harder. James steps forward. "We built this building as a space for everyone. It's meant to be welcoming, inclusive, and professional. Yet here we are, facing the very discrimination we've fought to eradicate. Do you see the irony?" The guard nods slowly, his face flushed with shame. "I'm sorry. I really am," he says, his voice barely audible. Lisa's expression softens, but only slightly. "Apologies are a start. But what about the next person? What about the woman or man who doesn't have the privilege of owning this building? How would you have treated them?" The question hangs in the air, heavy with implication. The guard looks down, unable to answer. The crowd begins to murmur again. People nod in agreement with Lisa's words. Some even clap softly, acknowledging the hard truth she is addressing. Mr. Griffin clears his throat. "This is a moment for all of us to learn. We will be implementing mandatory training for all staff to ensure that something like this never happens again. This isn't just a promise, it's a commitment." Lisa looks at him, her eyes scanning his face for sincerity. "We'll hold you to that," she says finally. James turns to the crowd. To everyone here, let this be a reminder. Stand up when you see something wrong. Silence only allows these moments to continue. Change starts with each of us. The crowd responds with a wave of applause. Some people step forward to thank the Carters for their courage and composure. Others linger, their faces thoughtful, clearly impacted by what they have witnessed. As the tension eases, Lisa and James walk toward the elevator. They exchange a glance, their shared understanding clear. This wasn't just about defending themselves. It was about making a point that would resonate far beyond this moment. "Let's go," Lisa says softly, her voice carrying both exhaustion and determination. The elevator doors close behind them, leaving the crowd to reflect on what just happened. The incident will not be forgotten. It will be a catalyst for change, a reminder that assumptions and biases have no place in a world striving for equality. The next day, the story of Lisa and James Carter spreads like wildfire across social media. A bystander's video capturing the entire incident goes viral. The hashtags number building bias and number equality for all trend worldwide. Comments flood the video, expressing outrage, solidarity, and support for the Carters. "This is unacceptable in this day and age," one commenter writes. Another says, "Lisa and James Carter showed such grace. They could have lost their cool, but they handled it perfectly." Local news channels pick up the story, broadcasting it repeatedly. The footage shows the security guard barring the Carters from entering the building they own, his accusatory tone sharp and disrespectful. The clip ends with Lisa's composed yet powerful statement about accountability, and James emphasizing inclusivity. The impact is undeniable. The backlash hits the building's management hard. Emails and calls flood their offices, demanding accountability. Many tenants in the building, having seen the video, voiced their disappointment. "We chose this building because of its reputation for inclusivity. What happened goes against everything it stands for," says one tenant in a recorded interview. The Carters, however, are not interested in revenge. Lisa posts a statement on her social media addressing the incident. "This is not just about us," she writes. "It's about ensuring that no one else experiences what we did. Discrimination in any form must be addressed, not with anger, but with education and action." Her message garners widespread praise. People appreciate her ability to focus on systemic change rather than personal grievances. Meanwhile, the security guard at the center of the controversy becomes a focal point of the discussion. While many criticize his actions, others call for understanding. "He made a mistake, but this is a chance for him to learn and grow," one commenter writes. The building's management team takes swift action. They announce mandatory diversity and inclusion training for all staff, starting immediately. Mr. Griffin, the building manager, issues a public apology. "We deeply regret the incident that occurred. This has been a wake-up call for all of us. We are committed to making changes to ensure our staff reflects the values of this community," he says in a press conference. The Carters are invited to participate in these changes, helping shape the training programs. Lisa and James agree, recognizing the importance of turning this painful experience into an opportunity for growth. Protests erupt outside the building as activists and community members rally for justice and awareness. They hold signs that read, "End discrimination now," and "Everyone belongs here." The protests are peaceful but powerful, drawing attention from even more media outlets. The security guard, feeling the weight of his actions, reaches out to the Carters through the building's management. He requests a chance to apologize in person. Lisa and James agree to meet with him privately. During their meeting, the guard expresses deep remorse. "I made a terrible mistake," he says, his voice heavy with regret. "I judged you without knowing anything about you. I let my biases cloud my judgment." Lisa listens intently before responding. "Acknowledging your mistake is the first step," she says. "What matters now is what you do moving forward. This isn't just about us. It's about how you treat everyone." James adds, "We're not here to ruin your life. We want you to take this as a lesson and make better choices in the future." The guard nods, visibly moved. "Thank you for giving me this chance," he says. The meeting ends on a hopeful note. The guard commits to attending the training sessions and working to unlearn his biases. As the protests continue, more stories emerge. Other tenants and visitors share their experiences of subtle discrimination they've faced in similar settings. These accounts add to the momentum of the movement, pushing for broader change. The Carters become symbols of grace and resilience. Their actions inspire others to speak out against injustice in their own lives. Lisa and James are invited to speak at community events, sharing their story and emphasizing the importance of accountability and education in combating discrimination. The incident also sparks a national conversation. People across the country discuss the prevalence of implicit bias and the importance of addressing it in everyday interactions. Companies and organizations take note, implementing their own diversity and inclusion initiatives. Lisa and James reflect on the ripple effect of their actions. What began as a moment of humiliation has transformed into a catalyst for change. They know the journey toward equality is long, but they are determined to continue advocating for a better future. The backlash doesn't just impact the building's management or the guard. It sparks a shift in the community's mindset. People begin to question their own biases and take steps to become more inclusive. The Carters' story becomes a testament to the power of resilience, compassion, and the will to create lasting change. After the public backlash, a new chapter begins for everyone involved. The Carters take the opportunity to address the larger issue of discrimination through positive actions. Lisa and James understand that real change comes from awareness and education. Lisa organizes a community gathering at the building, inviting tenants, staff, and local residents. The purpose is clear: to discuss diversity, inclusion, and respect. Standing before the crowd, Lisa speaks from the heart. "What happened to us was painful, but it also opened a door. This is a chance to build a better, more inclusive community." The tenants are inspired. One by one, they share their own experiences and ideas for improvement. A sense of unity begins to grow. James works with the building management to implement new policies that ensure equal treatment for everyone. "This isn't about pointing fingers," he explains. "It's about creating a culture of understanding and fairness." The security guard, who had barred the Carters, begins attending the diversity training sessions. He is initially nervous and hesitant, but as the sessions progress, he starts to reflect deeply on his actions. The trainers encourage open discussions, and the guard shares his story. "I acted out of ignorance," he admits. "I didn't realize how my biases could hurt others." The Carters are present at one of the sessions, sitting quietly as the guard speaks. When he finishes, Lisa stands up and addresses him directly. "Acknowledging your mistake is a brave step," she says. "We hope this experience helps you grow and treat others with the respect they deserve." The building management also steps up, creating a long-term plan to promote inclusivity. They establish a committee to oversee diversity efforts, ensuring that the lessons from this incident are not forgotten. Lisa and James are asked to join the committee as advisors. Meanwhile, the Carters' story continues to inspire people far beyond the building. They are invited to speak at schools, local organizations, and even national conferences. They use these platforms to advocate for empathy and understanding. During one event, Lisa shares a powerful message. "Discrimination is not always loud. Sometimes it's in the quiet assumptions we make about others. Change starts when we question those assumptions and choose kindness instead." James echoes her sentiments. "Everyone deserves to feel valued and respected. If we work together, we can create spaces where that is a reality for everyone." The impact of their words is profound. Attendees leave with a renewed commitment to treat others with dignity and fairness. The security guard, too, experiences a personal transformation. He approaches Lisa and James after completing the training program. "I can't change what I did," he says, "but I can change who I am moving forward. Thank you for giving me the chance to learn." Lisa smiles warmly. "Growth is what matters," she says. "We're glad you took this step." James shakes the guard's hand. "We hope this experience stays with you," he adds. The building becomes a symbol of positive change. The tenants, management, and staff work together to foster a welcoming environment. Community events are held regularly, bringing people from diverse backgrounds together. The Carters reflect on the journey. What began as a moment of humiliation has transformed into an opportunity for growth and connection. They know the road to equality is long, but they are committed to continuing their work. Their story becomes a beacon of hope, showing that even the most painful experiences can lead to meaningful change. Lisa and James remain dedicated to their mission, inspiring others to join them in creating a world where everyone is treated with respect and kindness. The Carters' story is a testament to resilience and the power of taking a stand. What began as an act of blatant discrimination has turned into an example of courage and transformation. It is not just about the injustice they faced, but how they responded, with strength, grace, and an unwavering commitment to change. Lisa and James reflect on the journey. They acknowledge that their success and confidence gave them the platform to fight back, but they also know that many others in similar situations might not have the same opportunities. This realization fuels their determination to advocate for those who cannot always speak for themselves. At one of their public events, Lisa delivers a heartfelt message. Our story may seem unique, but it represents a much larger issue. Discrimination affects millions every day. It is not enough to just call it out. We must actively work to eliminate it from our communities. James shares his perspective as well. It starts with the small actions, how we treat people in our everyday lives. Building a better world is a collective effort. Let's commit to being kinder, more understanding, and always willing to listen. The couple's message resonates with audiences far and wide. Their words inspire people to reflect on their own biases and take steps to foster inclusion. Social media is flooded with messages of support, as well as stories from others who have faced similar challenges. One particular comment stands out to Lisa. It reads, "Your courage gave me the strength to stand up for myself. Thank you for showing me that it's possible to turn pain into power." The Carters also take time to appreciate the changes within their own community. The building has become a symbol of diversity and unity, with regular events that bring tenants and staff together. The security guard who initially refused them entry is now a strong advocate for inclusion, proof that people can grow when given the chance. As Lisa and James walk through the lobby of their building one evening, they notice a bulletin board filled with messages from tenants. One note reads, "Thank you for making this building feel like home for everyone." Another says, "Because of you, I believe change is possible." The Carters exchange a smile. They know their work is far from over, but they take pride in the impact they have already made. The story closes with a powerful reflection. In Lisa's voice, the message is clear. Standing up for what is right is never easy, but it is always worth it. Our fight was not just for us. It was for anyone who has ever been judged unfairly. Change is possible, but it begins with each of us. The camera pans out as the Carters stand side by side, looking out over the city. Their story is not just a victory, it is a call to action. They remind us all that we have the power to confront injustice and create a world where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. What would you do if faced with a similar situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories of courage and change.